Hi everyone, welcome back to KG Graves. We're in Oddfellows Cemetery in Camden, Delaware, and we're here to visit the cenotaph of the actor Robert Mitchum, who starred in many famous films. I hope you enjoy the video.
I've died many times, Captain. But I continue to survive somehow. This time it was your fault.
I didn't know. Next time I won't throw you the rope.
I think you will.
Robert Mitchum was born Robert Charles Derman Mitchum on the 6th of August 1917 in Bridgeport, Connecticut, USA, to parents James and Anniette Ann Nee Gunderson. He was an American actor and singer. His older sister, Annette, known as Julie Mitchum during her acting career, was born in 1914. Their father James was crushed to death in a railroad accident in Charleston, South Carolina in February 1919. Their mother Anne was pregnant at the time and was awarded a government pension. She returned to Connecticut after staying for some time in her husband's hometown of Lane, South Carolina. Her third child, John, was born in September 1919. Anne later remarried and had a daughter, Carol. As a child, Robert was known as a prankster, often involved in fistfights and mischief. In 1926, his mother sent him and his younger brother John to live with her parents on a farm near Woodside, Delaware. He attended Felton High School, where he was expelled for mischief. During his years at the Felton School, he ran away from home for the first time at age 11. In 1929, Robert and his younger brother were sent to Philadelphia to live with their older sister Julie, who had started her career as a performer in vaudeville acts on the East Coast. The following year, he and the rest of the family moved to New York City with Julie, sharing an apartment in Manhattan's Hell's Kitchen with her and her husband. Robert attended Harran High School, but was eventually expelled. Robert left home at age 14 and travelled throughout the country, hopping freight cars and taking a number of jobs, including ditch digging, fruit picking, and dishwashing. In the summer of 1933, he was arrested for vagrancy in Savannah, Georgia, and put in a local chain gang. By his account, he escaped and hitchhiked to Rising Sun, Delaware, where his family had moved. That fall, at age 16, while recovering from injuries that nearly cost him a leg, he met 14-year-old Dorothy Spence, whom he would later marry. Robert worked for the Civilian Conservation Corps for a few months, digging ditches and planting trees, before going back on the road in July 1934. He headed for Long Beach, California, where his older sister had moved with her husband. The rest of the family soon also arrived and moved in with Julie. For the next 3 years, Robert continued travelling across the country and taking various jobs. He participated in 27 professional boxing matches, but retired from the ring after a fight that broke his nose and left a scar on his left eye. By 1937, Robert had settled in Long Beach, California. His sister, Julia, tried to return to show business and became a member of the Players Guild, a local theatre group. Often accompanying her home after her rehearsals, he took an interest in the group's productions and became acquainted with her colleagues. With his mother's encouragement, he joined the Players Guild and made his stage debut in August 1937. He continued appearing in their productions and also wrote 2 children's plays. After Julie began working as a cabaret singer, he started writing lyrics for her and other performers. In 1939, he wrote and composed an oratorio that was produced and directed by Orson Welles and performed at a benefit for Jewish refugees. In late 1939, Robert was hired by astrologer Carol Reiter as an assistant for the Eastern Seaboard Tour. He returned to Delaware to marry Dorothy Spence in 1940 during this trip and then moved back to California with her. He quit his work as a writer for cabaret acts after a promised payment failed to materialize. Intending to provide a steady income for his wife, after his wife became pregnant, he took a job as a sheet metal worker at the Lockheed Aircraft Corporation during World War II. He acted part-time for a while, and his last stage appearance before his entrance into films was in 1941. The noise of the machinery at Lockheed damaged his hearing. Assigned to a graveyard shift, he suffered from chronic insomnia and went temporarily blind. Told by his doctors that his illness was caused by job-related anxieties, he left Lockheed. Robert then sought work as a film actor. An agent he knew from his work in the theatre got him an interview with Harry Sherman, the producer of United Artists' Hopalong Cassidy Western film series. In June 1942, he began his film career with a part as a minor villain in Border Patrol, the first of 7 Hopalong Cassidy films he made that were released in 1943. That year he appeared in a total of 19 films. Other films in which he played supporting parts included a Laurel and Hardy comedy, The Dancing Masters, and 2 war films, Corvette K225 and Gung Ho. Robert's first important role was in When Strangers Marry 1944. On the 25th of May 1944, Robert signed a 7-year contract with RKO at an initial salary of $350 per week, effective from the 1st of June. David O. Selznick's Vanguard Films bought a piece of the contract. His first film for RKO was Girl Rush 1944. He was groomed for B-Western stardom in 2 Zane Grey adaptations, Nevada 1944 and West of the Pecos 1945, with the former making his first time receiving star billing. Both films did well at the box office and received positive reviews from critics. Following the filming of the 2 westerns, RKO lent Robert to independent producer Lester Cohen for a prominent supporting role in The Story of G.I. Joe 1945. The film became an instant critical and commercial success. General Dwight D. Eisenhower, the future 34th US President, called it the greatest war picture he had ever seen. Before its release, Robert was drafted into the United States Army, serving at Fort MacArthur, California as a medic. The Story of G.I. Joe was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, including Robert's only nomination for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. The film established him as a star. In 1946, Robert appeared in Till the End of Time, a box office hit about returning Marine veterans with Dorothy Maguire and Guy Madison, before migrating to a genre that came to define his career and screen persona, and ultimately became known for film noir. Robert's career took a significant turn in 1947. He was loaned to Warner Brothers for Pursued. co-starring Teresa Wright, playing a character who attempts to recall his past and find those responsible for killing his family. It was his first high-budget western and is generally considered the first film noir western in American cinema. Crossfire, co-starring Robert Young and Robert Ryan, featured Robert as a member of a group of returned World War II soldiers embroiled in a murder investigation for an act committed by an anti-Semite in their ranks. With a modest budget, the picture became RKO's most profitable film of 1947 and earned 5 Academy Award nominations. Following the success of Pursued and Crossfire, Robert was signed to a new 7-year contract with RKO, which immediately increased his salary from $1,500 to $3,000 per week. He rounded out 1947 with Out of the Past, also known as Build My Gallows High, landing his first starring role in a major RKO production. It co-starred Jane Greer and Kirk Douglas. On the 1st of September 1948, during the rise of his career, Robert was arrested for possession of marijuana with actress Lila Leeds. While RKO could have cited the morals clause and cancelled his contract, the studio chose to stand by him. He served 50 days, split between the Los Angeles County Jail and a Castaic, California, prison farm, and was released on the 30th of March 1949. Life photographers were permitted to take photos of him mopping up in the prison uniform. He later told reporters that jail was like Palm Springs but without the riffraff. Robert's conviction was later overturned by the Los Angeles court and district attorney's office on the 31st of January 1951 after being exposed as a setup. Despite his legal troubles, his popularity was not harmed. His upcoming film, Rachel and the Stranger, was rushed into release to take advantage of the publicity surrounding the arrest and became one of RKO's top grossers of 1948. In 1949, Robert starred in The Red Pony, co-starring Myrna Loy, and it was his first film in colour. He was cast against type in the romantic comedy Holiday Affair opposite Janet Leigh. Although the film failed at the box office at the time, it is now identified as a Christmas classic with annual showings on television. By the end of the 1940s, Robert had become RKO's biggest star. Before the filming of Holiday Affair, RKO's studio head, Howard Hughes, bought Selznick's share of his contract for $400,000. In the 1950s, Robert starred in many films with mixed reviews. In His Kind of Woman 1951, he was paired for the first time with Jane Russell, RKO's top female star at the time. Macau 1952 reunited him with Russell. Both His Kind of Woman and Macau cost so much money to make that they lost money. He returned to the western genre. He starred as a veteran rodeo champion in The Lusty Men, also 1952, co-starring Susan Hayward and Arthur Kennedy. His performance was lauded by critics, calling it his best to date. In 1954, Robert was teamed with Gene Simmons in the romantic comedy She Couldn't Say No, his last film released by RKO. That same year, he was loaned out to 20th Century Fox and co-starred with Marilyn Monroe in River of No Return, which was a box office hit. He left RKO after his contract expired on the 15th of August 1954. In 1955, Robert starred in The Night of the Hunter, Charles Lawton's only film as a director. He played a serial killer, posing as a preacher to find money hidden by his cellmate in the man's home. A commercial failure on release, the film is now widely regarded as one of the greatest films of all time. Robert's performance as preacher, Harry Powell, is considered by many one of the best of his career, and the image of him with the words, hate and love tattooed on his knuckles has left an enduring impact on popular culture, frequently referenced in various media. In a 1985 review for the Chicago Reader, Dave Kerr described the preacher as the role that most fully exploits his, Robert's, ferocious sexuality. Roger Ebert wrote in the Chicago Sun-Times in 1996, "Nobody who has seen The Night of the Hunter has forgotten it," or Mitchum's voice coiling down those basement stairs, "Children." On the 8th of March 1955, Robert formed DRM Productions, named after his and his wife's initials. In 1957 he starred in Heaven Knows Mr. Allison, which cast him as a Marine corporal stranded on a Pacific island with a nun, played by Deborah Kerr, as his role companion until Japanese soldiers arrive and establish a base. In this character study, they struggle with the elements, the garrison, and their growing feelings for one another. It was the first of 4 films with Kerr, his favourite leading lady. Their performances and chemistry were praised by critics, many of whom highlighted the tenderness he brought to his character. The film was nominated for 2 Academy Awards, Best Actress and Best Adapted Screenplay. For his role, Robert was nominated for a BAFTA Award for Best Foreign Actor. In 1958 he starred in his second DRM production, Thunder Road. The film was loosely based on an incident in which a driver transporting moonshine in 1952 was said to have fatally crashed on Kingston Pike in Knoxville, Tennessee, somewhere between Bearden Hill and Morrill Road. Robert produced, co-wrote the screenplay for, and is rumoured to have directed much of the film, which featured his son James playing his younger brother. He also co-wrote the theme song, The Ballad of Thunder Road, with Don Ray. The film was frequently shown in drive-in and third house theatres in the 1960s and has since earned the reputation as the definitive road movie. Robert appeared in many more films throughout the 1950s. After moving to a farm in Talbot County, Maryland, with his family in 1959, Robert developed a new passion for quarter horse breeding and, for the next several years, gradually became indifferent to selecting his films, also losing interest in his work as a producer. He renamed DRM Productions as Talbot Productions after his new home county. He stated that it had since become only a co-production company and that he had never really produced any of his own films again. Into the 1960s, Robert again featured in lots of films. In 1965 he starred in Mr. Moses opposite Carol Baker. Robert, usually reluctant to participate in publicity events, undertook an extensive tour to promote the film at distributor United Artists' requests, stated that he believed it was a pretty good picture. The reviews were fairly positive, with critics noting his casual charm. Following the release of Mr. Moses, Robert revealed in interviews that he might leave Maryland with his family. While he enjoyed the privacy the farm provided, the challenging weather conditions and his wife's feeling of isolation eventually prompted their return to Los Angeles, a move he recalled as the right decision given his film commitments. In 1967 he starred in El Dorado with John Wayne, which was a major success. Other films Robert was in during the 60s was Villa Rides, 5 Card Stud, and Anzio, all 1968, The Wild Bunch 1969, and many more. In 1970 there was the film Ryan's Daughter. At the time of filming, Robert was considering retiring from acting and was also concerned about the film's demanding schedule. Some of the other 70s films were Farewell My Lovely 1975, and in 1978 Robert also reprised the role he had in the original version of The Big Sleep 1946 in the 1975 version. Next, there was the 1976 film Midway. In the 1980s, Robert appeared in several films, but in 1984 he entered the Betty Ford Center in Palm Springs, California for treatment of alcoholism. He played George Hazard's father-in-law in the 1985 miniseries North and South. In 1987, Robert was the guest host on Saturday Night Live. In 1991, he was set to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award from the National Board of Review of Motion Pictures. He rejected it, however, after learning that he would have to pay for his own transport and accommodations and accept it in person. However, in 1992 he received the Cecil B. DeMille Award from the Golden Globe Awards. In the mid-90s, Robert gradually slowed down his workload. His last film appearance was in a small but pivotal role in the television biographical film James Dean Race with Destiny, 1997. His last starring role was in the 1995 Norwegian movie Pack 10. One of the lesser-known aspects of Robert's career was his foray into music as a singer. Frank Sinatra said of Robert, "For anyone who's not a professional musician, he knows more about music from Bach to Brubeck than any man I've ever known." Robert's voice was often used instead of that of a professional singer when his character sang in his films. Notable productions featuring Robert's own singing voice included Pursued, Rachel and the Stranger, 1948, 1 Minute to Zero, 1952, The Night of the Hunter, 1955, The Sundowners, 1960, and Maria's Lovers, 1984. He sang the title song to Young Billy Young, 1969, and River of No Return, 1954. He also released 2 albums, Calypso Is Like So, 1957, and That Man Robert Mitchum Sings, 1967. In his personal life, Robert married Dorothy Spence on the 16th of March 1940 in Dover, Delaware. The couple had 3 children, sons James, born on the 8th of May 1941, and Christopher, born on the 16th of October 1943, and a daughter, Petrine, born on the 3rd of March 1952. Despite his reported affairs with other women, including author Edna O'Brien and actresses Lucille Ball, Ava Gardner, Gene Simmons, Shirley MacLaine, and Sarah Miles, Robert and his wife Dorothy remained together until his death. He told journalist Don Short in a 1977 interview, "Not as though there have been anyone else in my life except Dorothy. There's not one of them, and I've met the best of them, worth lighting a candle for alongside her." His grandson Bentley Mitchum is an actor, and his great-granddaughter Grace Van Dien is an actress too. A lifelong heavy smoker, Robert died in his sleep at 5 a.m. on the 1st of July 1997 at his home in Santa Barbara, California, from complications of lung cancer and emphysema. He was 79 years old. His wife of 57 years, Dorothy, was by his side. Robert's body was cremated, and on the 6th of July, his ashes were scattered into the Pacific Ocean off the coast near his home. The private ceremony was attended only by his family members and his longtime friend Jane Russell. The cenotaph was placed in his memory in his wife's family plot at the Oddfellows Cemetery in Camden, Delaware. His wife Dorothy died on the 23rd of April 2014 at the age of 94. In accordance with the couple's wishes, her ashes were also scattered at sea so that they could be symbolically reunited at Easter Island. At the 1982 premiere for that championship season, an intoxicated Robert assaulted a female reporter and threw a baseball that he was holding, a prop from the film, at a female photographer from Time magazine, causing a neck injury and knocking out 2 of her teeth. She sued him for $30 million in damages. The suit eventually cost him his salary from the film. Robert appeared in well over 110 films between 1942 and 1997, and in television shows between 1982 and 1995 during his career. What a talented actor Robert was. Let's see where the cenotaph of his grave is located.
So there you have it, the cenotaph for Robert Mitchum. He was actually cremated and his ashes scattered at sea, but this is the only marker in the US. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching, see you on the next one.
Rest in peace, Robert Mitchum.